Hello, today's eCast I'm going to cover utilizing the calendar for inviting not only other people but also conference rooms, and I'm going to focus on utilizing the busy search, which I feel is an underutilized function of Groupwise. So here I am, my Groupwise inbox should be familiar to everybody. If I click over to my calendar, I get the standard view, click over to month or whatever. If I want to create a new meeting, there's a couple ways to go about it. I can actually find the day, and I can right click and do new and do appointment. You don't want to do posted appointment, you want to do appointment. I can also, even from my mailbox, I can go up in my toolbar and I can drop this down and make sure I pick meeting instead of posted appointment. Again, you don't want to really pick posted appointment. That's for just you. It won't let you invite people. The third way, you can do file, new, appointment. I'm just going to do it this way. And when you first open this up, most of you probably have seen this, it self-invites you. And I'm going to go ahead and invite a couple people that I know have busy calendars so that I can demonstrate the features of the busy search. So I'm going to invite Steve and I'm going to invite Joel here. The other thing I'm going to do, well, just a side note here, if this ever pops up on you and you have two addresses for the same guy, what I would suggest you do is find the one you don't care about, like that one, hit delete, and that will delete it right out of your address book so that that doesn't happen anymore. Okay, so that got me a little sidetracked, but back to the two box. Right now I've got myself, Steve, and Joel invited, and for the busy search that would be enough. I could show you that, but what I'd like to also show you here is how to invite a conference room while I'm doing this. So the way you would do that is you can either know that all the conference rooms start with the caret symbol, which is the shift of 6 on your number pad. If you're not sure, you can always click the address book. You can make sure that the look-in, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, you can make sure that the look-in up here at the top is set to the Novell Groupwise address book. If you have it set to yourself or frequent contacts or some other one, it's not going to show you the built-in or our company conference room. So in this case, I'm going to pick the HA conference room, and I'm going to double-click, and that's going to move over to the 2, just like it was a person, and I'm going to hit OK. So now I've got 4 people invited. So at this point, what a lot of people probably would do is they'd click the start date, right, and that would pop up, and they'd pick the time, and they'd move this around and all that. And that's all great, except that you have no idea if all 3 of these other people are busy or not. So the easiest way to do it is to click up here at the top and do busy search. And what that does, it will pop up in one of 2 modes. In this particular case, it popped up on individual schedules because that's where I had it last. I'm going to click it over to available times, and you'll see that it shows me a list of everybody down here, and it shows all of these dark gray and light gray boxes along with the white ones. One thing you have to be careful, and you sort of didn't notice, let me do it again here, is when I first open up the busy search one, you have to wait till down at the bottom here, this green bar stops, because all the calendars have not popped in here yet until that green bar is all the way done. You can see it says 304. So once that's done, you're all good to go. And now you can look at this mess that's called a schedule for all of these 4 people based on these light gray ones. One of the first things you can do is down here on the lower right hand side, you can hit auto select. And if you do that, it will basically take the next time slot where everybody isn't busy and put your appointment there. So I hit it here and it jumped to 4 o'clock today. You'll notice up here in my list now, nobody is in the gray, right? The other thing you can do is this little box here, you can actually drag it around. And as you drag it around, notice over to the right, as the little gray boxes move around as I hover over. So right there, that's a Steve Paul, right? I go up a little higher, and Steve Paul, myself and Joel are busy. I come over here, all 3 of us are done. That's because it's 7 in the morning. So you can drag this thing around into a white spot, and it will pick the time. So right there, I dropped it there. That's going to be Friday, the 25th. You can see down here, 10 a.m., it's 1 hour. I can also grab the top or bottom of this, and I can make the appointment 5 hours, right? I can now drag it around, do the same thing. So you can completely manipulate the appointment, where it is, when it is, that kind of a thing. So I find this really handy because you can actually pick an appointment that you know people aren't busy, or at least that you hope they're not. The other option you can do here is click over to individual schedules. And over here, if they haven't hid their events from you, if you take the little, again, the square thing over and you slide it over somebody's particular gray bar, you'll see here I haven't hidden this, and it says that I'll be in CMIC training, conference room, Devin sent me the appointment. Other people, depending on how you've done it, so right there, Steve Paul, you can see that he's got a 3rd and Cedar team meeting. You can hide that if you want to. It's kind of handy for most people to be able to see those things. Again, you don't need this view. This view is a little harder to figure out when everyone's not busy. Again, you can hit the auto select, and I'll show you how this one sort of works. This one, it's more of a vertical. So you see it found this vertical area right here where nobody had a meeting. And so it's scheduled at, what's that? The 24th at 12 p.m. Again, like I said, to find available times, this view here, I find a lot better. The other thing you can do is say you're in here and you're like, oh man, Joel doesn't really need to be there, or something like that, right? You can actually go into the invite to meeting area. Not only can you add somebody else here, but you can right click and you can delete and you can hit OK. And again, it will, didn't have to do anything there, but you can now see that he's not there. And now the meeting space has opened up a little bit better. If I took off Steve Paul here, you can see you can also just uncheck the box too. Same sort of, so you can see who's really, whose appointments are where, if you want to. So a lot of flexibility. And basically, once you pick something and you click OK, so I'm going to just schedule this for, right here. Let's put it over here. Right, and then I'm going to click OK. You'll notice that it's filled in the start date, it's filled in the time, and now I can finish doing my subject. Right, and I can do blah, 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 blah. I can attach files if I want to. And when I hit send, it's going to send that appointment out to everybody, and I'm going to have a pretty good idea that they're going to be able to make the meeting. Now, the one key thing with bringing in a conference room here is that each conference room we have set up will automatically accept appointments if there's not a conflict. So if you go into the busy search and you find a spot where there's not a conflict, you're guaranteed that meeting room, assuming that, somebody doesn't trump you with a higher pay scale or something. But anyway, so that's basically how that works. And I find it very useful, and I think it's a very good tool for people. And if you have a conference room at your job site or another location, another office, and you want to be able to schedule it this way, just let me know or let somebody in IT know, and we will create the room for you. We'll make somebody on site the manager so that they can manage the calendar just in case somebody screws up, and you'll be good to go. So hopefully this was informative, and hopefully I covered everything you guys will need to know. Thank you very much.